Hi there, it's Rachel Martin, and you're listening to Parenting Teens Podcasts. Hi, and welcome to another Parenting Teen Podcasts. Today I wanted to talk about exam results day, specifically the day, like you've done all the revision, you've been through all the worry, the anxiety, the stress of trying to make sure your teen did enough to get the results that you think they deserved or that they needed to do what they needed to do. But the actual day is approaching pretty fast, and there are some things you can do to make sure that when your teen looks back on this day, they remember just how great you were in the moment and in the lead up to what feels like the biggest day of their lives. So D-Day for your teen is approaching. They're stressed, you're stressed, and you're all trying not to think about it, as you know it's too late now to change what's coming. But the aura is there about the house, this weird sense of something hanging in the air causing tension. Yep, results day is definitely on its way. Now, as a parent, I'm sure you feel the stress, anticipation, and maybe hopefully a little bit of excitement rising in you for what's coming. Your little person is getting a piece of paper that can make them so super happy, or it could literally break them in two. I know the whole process is done how it has to be done. I'm sure you've pictured it in your head. All the other kids at school, some crying, some cheering, and you just so desperately want your child to be jumping around and punching the air with delight. But what if they're not? What if their mates do well and your teen doesn't get what they wanted? Wow, just the thought of that is enough to make your stomach jump and your heart start to bleed a bit. You may relive their study periods in your head, the revision. You began to rake over your teen's entire time at school. The enthusiasm, was it less than great? Or the anxiety that they had that was crippling and stopped them being able to do all that they could? Or if they just hadn't fallen into that crowd, it could have been so different. This, I hate to tell you, is the parent trap of exam results day. It's completely normal, but it's a complete rabbit hole of doom. It's going to just leave you worried and stressed, all of which I promise you your teen is going to sense in a snap. You can try and hide it from them, but if you do this, they're going to end up making up their own story in their head of why you're acting weird. And I can bet it won't be a nice story where you come out looking great. Probably more likely they're going to think you're worrying about what you're going to have to do when you find out that they've stuffed it all up. You're probably saying things like, it doesn't matter, don't worry, we'll do whatever we need to do. But you know as well as they do, deep inside, you really, really, really just want them to do well. Enough to follow the plans they've made for college or university. Please just give them the easy path. It's all you want. It's all you've ever wanted. It's the best for them, so they can live their dream. Does any of this sound familiar? So the point of this podcast is, what can you do? What shouldn't you do? And how can you make this moment in your teen's life the best it can be? When, let's be honest, it's all so unknown and massively out of your control. Well, as always, this is another huge opportunity for you as a parent. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's going to take emotional control for you, but with some simple tips and maybe a slight shift in your focus, you can absolutely be that brilliant parent. That no matter what the results are, your team will look back. They'll look back and they'll smile at how you supported them. And if you're uber lucky, they may well give you a hug on the day just for being you. So for a moment, I want you to picture you and me having a conversation about parenting over the phone. Just a nice chat. We've discussed the bits you're proud of and the bits you're not so sure about. And you're feeling a bit lighter because you shared your inner angels and demons. And I come back with something like, I hear what you're saying, just try not to worry about it. So all that's done now and you can't change it. So try not to think about it. It doesn't matter now. What's done is done. What's your initial response when you hear that? Like, seriously, how do you feel as I said that to you? There are a couple of angles to these statements I really want you to see. First of all, I absolutely get your intention of lowering the pressure by pointing out it's too late to change it, so it doesn't matter, there's no point in worrying. However, when you heard it, did you feel that I saw you in a positive, solid parenting light? Or does it feel like I'm trying to sugarcoat the fact that I think you've made mistakes? These type of statements don't always work because they don't validate how someone's feeling. They usually make them feel a bit worse. And the secret message behind them is, I think you may have failed. Or even just, there's a small chance you may have failed, and I want you to be okay as you can be. But the problem is what your teen hears is, I think there's a chance you've failed. Now this process is all unknown. There's a chance that they may have stuffed up, but the lead up and even on the day can be so completely different. So I ask, what do you want your teen to feel from you? Do you want them to remember of you from this day? Do you want them to be worried you're going to go mad, or worried that they've let you down? I could go on, but to take my own advice, we should be looking on the positive side of these things. You don't want any of those negative thoughts. You want, I'm so glad that Mum gets this. I'm so glad she's not adding to the pressure I'm putting on myself. And I know no matter how this comes out, she'll be proud of me. I'm so glad she's not like Joey's mum. She just gets it. Oh, I love Mum. The thought of your teen seeing you that way, I bet it makes you a little bit fuzzy inside, doesn't it? Well, it's completely doable. And here's a couple of ways to start. Number 1, don't get in their face. When we're stressed, what never fails to make it worse? People in your space. Always there. To calm down when you're stressed, we need space and time to rationalise all those crazy spinning thoughts. So you get an opportunity to be the exam results stress-free zone. Be under no illusion. Right now, their mates will be thinking about it. Very soon, their social media is going to be covered with it. Be the freedom zone. Unless they bring it to you and want to talk to you about it, then of course indulge and listen. But give them a chance to live in the lead up to their exam day. Don't make everything about exam result day, and definitely don't get in their face about it. Number 2, you need to validate their feelings. I know that's proper counselling chat there, but it goes back to the way you see and say things. The don't worry, try not to think about it. Great intention, zero use. Instead, try to really hear their concerns. So listen to understand what they're saying, what it's like to be your teen right now. Listen not with the intention of trying to fix it. Now, those of you who know me and have listened to podcasts before, you won't be surprised to hear me say, don't try to fix it. Despite the fact with this one, you know you can't fix it. It's infuriating to tell someone how you're feeling and for them to just come back with all the things that you clearly haven't done, that you missed, or that you were just too stupid to see. It just isn't helpful when it comes to feelings. Your chance to fix may be coming along if they don't get the results that they need. Your practical doing skills will have a great place there, just not here. When they say they feel worried about the day, maybe find out why. Could be the pressure from their friends, the fear of not getting what they planned, picturing your face when they tell you they didn't get what they wanted. All the worst case scenarios is where they are focusing. And you can be a little ray of light that reminds them this isn't the only option of an outcome. Ask what other options there are. They might get some okay and some maybe not. They could get all okay. They could even outdo what they were predicted. These are all very possible options. We just get too scared to think about it and get our hopes up. Being realistic is important, but being overly negative, just so that you won't be disappointed, I'm afraid to say is just rubbish. Now, this is a bit of an important point. So this whole belief that if I expect the worst, I won't be disappointed, as I'm already prepared for it. Oh, it's such a terrible idea. I can't tell you, but I am going to tell you. Here's why. If you're living the disappointment of thinking you've failed to avoid disappointment, that just makes no sense. Why would you string out that hideous feeling for longer just so it's not a shock on the actual day? That's just backwards. I don't want to feel disappointed, so I'm going to make myself feel disappointed and live that so I'm used to it, just in case I don't get what I wanted. And I've even got to add to this, you're still going to be disappointed when you get them. Like, it's absolute lies it prepares you. Your heart is still going to sink. And in fact, you may ping over to anger with, I told myself I was never going to get it, and I was right. I'm such an idiot. Sometimes it's okay to live in the grey. It may be okay. Now, don't go all gung-ho and go top drawer and expect the absolute paramount best, but go with okay. Then the slide or the ladder up isn't so intense. Plus, let's be honest, logically, this is the most likely option that you're going to get. Something else that I'm going to say, that I do say a lot as well, is about rewarding effort, not results. Now, I bang on about this in my Strong Parenting Team Relationship Guide. There's a free download if you haven't got it. It's on my social media and all that kind of stuff. But I'm afraid I'm going to get back onto this bandwagon. In the lead up, and especially on results day, this focus is key. It's like the magic sauce that will keep you in the support zone without laying down any expectations of your teen. You'll be able to feel genuinely super proud of your teen, no matter what the results are. I'm 99% sure, maybe deep down, if your teen is stressed or worried about results day, part of this is going to relate to them wanting your approval. They just want to make you proud of them. And why I'm saying this is some of this nightmare relates directly to how you're going to feel about your teen once they get their results. If you really think about that, how sad is that? I mean, it's kind of lovely they're considering you, but it's also really sad. That's more worry for them, thinking about what you're going to do. This is something they could really do without, and something you can stop. If you can focus on your teen's effort to get here and how proud that makes you, instead of this final piece, it's just going to get so much easier for them. It's like the journey they took to get here is the cake, and the results are like the sprinkles that you decorate it with. Now, it's great to have a pretty cake, but really, honestly, when it comes down to it, the cake is the bit that we want. With or without sprinkles, I'll still take the cake. And given a choice, do you want a few sprinkles or a non-decorated cake? Come on, the cake always wins. The cake represents your teen's effort, the fact that they got here in the first place. Focus here. They've done thousands of days at school, years of preparing to take these exams. They've fought through friendships. They've managed social situations. They've done test exams, mock exams, past papers. I can't even tell you how many hours of homework, presentations and studies and investigations. They have done this all of their life for these one result to tell them if they're a success or a failure. And it's rubbish. They're a success. They took the exams. There was no guarantee that that was even going to happen. Some teens don't even make it to the point of being able to take the exams. The effort your teen has put in to get to this point is monumental, and you should beam with pride for the fact that you have got to this day because of all they've managed to do for themselves. There are so many ways to help you keep focus and perspective on effort instead of results. So what I ask you to do is keep your focus here. Keep your brain here on everything they've done to get here. They will feel that you see what it took. They'll feel like you understand everything they've been through and that you appreciate the highs and the lows of it all, and that you're not just focusing on this micro, tiny one part of their life. So results day for parents, keep your focus on the cake. Focus on the effort. Focus on the effort that they've made to get here, and be so super proud that you're even here in the first place with them. Hopefully what you've heard has given you some food for thought, even if it's just because we've been talking about cake. But you should have some ideas about how you can take this day from something of dread to be able to close the book on this part of your teen's life and find that it's nothing to stress over for either of you. On a final note, I have to tell you that this day is coming. You can't stop it, but you can make it easier for your teen and yourself if you're just willing to slightly change your perspective on what matters. Give it a go. What have you got to lose other than the stress of exactly what numbers your teen's getting on that page? You can absolutely do this. I wish good luck to your team for their results, and to you for being the awesome parent who loves cake and isn't so fussed about sprinkles. That's it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it informative. Don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on if you don't want to miss the next podcast. As always, if you've got any feedback or further ideas, please just drop me a message. I always love to hear from everybody. If you want to know any more information about the downloads I've talked in these episodes, just visit my website, which is My Inner Strength. Have a lovely day.